Recording.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. We're back yet again for another week.
Welcome to Two Black Girls, One Rose.
Where two black-ass girls invade the whitest show on earth. Bachelor in Paradise. I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And we just watched, what is this, week 5? Week 5?
Yeah.
Week 5,
so.
Hour 495 of Bachelor in Paradise.
Ooh.
Jesus Christ. A lot of drama. There's a lot happening this week. Colton was named the Bachelor. Let's just, that's what, we'll get to that. Bachelor in Paradise is kind of wrapping up. It was like a more mellow week, I feel like. There was drama, but not that much.
Yeah, and it was kind of like sad drama, some of it, you know? It wasn't like happy, fun things.
Not at all.
So.
What were your initial thoughts, friend?
My initial thoughts, first of all, I'd like to say happy birthday to Beyonce, because we're saying happy birthday to her all week.
The queen. Another day.
Secondly, I would have loved to see my Eric as the Bachelor. I don't care what you people say. I'm riding for my nigga. I don't care. Okay? I love him. Flaws and all.
There's many flaws that came out this episode. Let me just put that out there. But okay, keep going.
I just think he's like, he's fine as shit. He's deeply misunderstood.
Oh my god. Massive eye roll from Natasha.
I know. I just ride for him. I just love him. Also, I really don't think Johnny's here for the right reasons. I know we said before that he probably hates that we call him Venmo John, and now his ass is plastered all over the A train talking about John uses Venmo. So
that's true. Those new Subway ads.
I don't know. I feel like he's out here for I would say Instagram.
No, I don't think I don't think he's here promoting Venmo. Venmo needs no promotion. He also doesn't even work for Venmo anymore.
Right.
I feel like John's in Paradise, as we said, living up his college, he missed spring break. He's here just trying to relive that the glory days that he missed.
I know.
Is he looking for love? Who knows? He's just here
Who knows?
to have a good time, and I'm not mad at him.
It was all of his devotionals this week were just so hysterical. How he was like, people get married on this? I died.
Or when Colton left, he was like, wait, what? That's a thing? He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what time it is. What the fuck he signed up for. He's just here to get some margaritas and make out with somebody.
That's it.
Whoever.
That's it. Oh my god. And then the new name for Bachelor in Therapy, I think, is going to be called the Total Package, because everybody wants the total package. They keep saying, he's the total package, they're the total package, she's the total package, and nobody actually knows what that means besides doesn't make out with someone else.
Exactly.
So yeah, those are mine. What about you, friend?
Okay. So I know you're riding for your husband, Eric, but Eric deeply disappointed me this weekend, or this week. I know. I'm tired of the frauds. I don't want to call him a fraud, but he was doing some fraudulent ass shit on the show. So Eric has always been a big talker of just pure foolishness. The sun and the moon, the miracle season, just nonsense that, we're like, oh, Eric, he's cute. Black guy, we gotta ride for him. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm constantly rolling my eyes at most of the shit that he says, but I'm trying to support him, But he really made me think, these guys who play off on being, spiritual and, they're, he described himself as this spiritual kind of, he likes deep conversations, he tries to appeal to women as he's different because he's a sensitive man. He's trustworthy. He's a different kind of guy. When really on this episode with Angela, he turned out to be every other nigga.
Yep. Just typical niggatry. Yeah.
Typical niggatry, and it was very disappointing. I also think Eric and we'll get to this because he goes through some shit later on in the episode, so I'll get to that. But I feel like he's going through some other shit that maybe his going home was just so bizarre, and his explanation made no sense, that he clearly is going through something else that, like, the cameras aren't showing, or they don't really know how to address it. I don't really know. It was very unclear, but I feel like it wasn't just Angela and Paradise that was, like, going through his head. I feel like there's something else, maybe. I'm not sure. Other thoughts. So many new people showed up on today's episode. Why are new people still coming?
Why are people coming week 5 when week 6 is next week?
What? When Diggy came down the steps, I was like, what is Diggy doing here? I was literally just, like, looking at his tweets on Twitter, and then suddenly he's walking down the steps of Paradise. Like, isn't this shit over next week? Why are they still sending people out there? Ow. So weird. Yeah. Too many new faces. Like, to be honest, I'm kind of over everybody like that's there.
Yeah.
I love Kevin and Astrid. I think they're, like, a real ass couple. Enjoy seeing them, but also just kind of over them, over everybody. Ready to kind of close this chapter.
Yeah,
see
definitely.
Maybe who proposes to who or what goes on with that, but yeah, it's been an interesting Paradise, I'll say that.
I know. I would love to have seen, like, a focus on the couples that were here for these past 2 weeks instead of bringing in new people.
Yes, I think
Tuesday before the finale.
Like, yes, that's true. Like, give us... I mean, the reason why Eric went home and it seems so weird, it's like we didn't really see much of him and Angela to really understand how they arrived at this.
Exactly.
Suddenly she's going home, and then they're spending more time with camera time on, you know, Diggy's walking in, Jordan's walking in, Shushanna's mess. Who the fuck is Shushanna? Who gives a shit? Why was her drama the whole episode? I don't even know who this girl is. Yeah, they're ending Paradise on, like, a very odd note where we're kind of just like over everybody and, like, all right, let's just keep trucking along, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh no. So that was that. Of course, before we get into, you know, the recap, you know, talk about Colton as Bachelor and all that stuff, we do have some announcements. First and foremost, rate, review, subscribe. Say it every week. I'm going to keep on saying it. That is how you guys give back to us. For Justine and I to continue to do this podcast, we need you to support us. And the way to support us is to rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't already done that, go do that. Also, hit us up on Twitter. Our handle is the number 2 BLK Girls, the number 1 Rose.
And email us. We love reading your emails. Email us at the number 2 Black Girls, the number 1 Rose at gmail.com.
Yes. So we announced last week on our podcast, very exciting. We will, once Bachelor in Paradise finishes, we'll be recording what we call our Nice for What to These Niggas episodes, part 1 and 2. If you missed last season, go back and dig through the episodes on our podcast and find those. And basically those 2 episodes are where we do a deep dive into different themes that come up or that came up on Becca's season, as well as Bachelor in Paradise. So what we're doing new this season is, in addition to those deep dive episodes, we will also be doing mailbag episodes. Yay! You guys already email us all the time, and we love the emails. But we wanted to have episodes specifically dedicated to answering you guys' questions as they relate to the different themes that come up during the deep dive. So again, the themes that we're going to be covering in part 1, everyday bigots. So think the Garretts of the world. Any questions you have on dealing with, you know, a Garrett Kushner in your office, send us in your questions. Theme 2 is toxic masculinity. Theme 3 is maybe you're going through an issue right now where you can't decide between the good guy and this bad, fuck nigga.
With a little edge.
With a little edge. Send us in your question. Theme number 4 is people and their words. Men and women and their empty-ass words. And then theme 5 is what we're calling something old, something new. So dating, someone that you're used to, something that's familiar, versus taking a risk and dating, someone who might be a little something new for you. So those are the themes. Again, any questions, trials and tribulations you are dealing with in your life, send us in your questions. That episode will be on September 24th, so you have a good almost a month to send us in any question, dating, relationship, life, workplace, anything that comes up as it relates to those themes. Send us in your question, make it short, but make it juicy.
Yeah, and I do want to reiterate that if you've emailed us previously, you can email us again with your question, and we'll definitely consider it for the episode. So,
yes, absolutely. All right, so that leads us to church announcements. Yay! Whip out your program. What we got?
Every time you say that, I literally picture like when you have to get it from out your butt. Anyway.
Yes. What I would always do when I go to church, just to make listen here, people. I grew up in a Jamaican Pentecostal household where I went to Pentecostal church. That shit is terrible. You already know. It's like 6 hours long. People speaking in tongues, running up and down the aisles. It was a fucking shit show. But yeah, to make the time pass like quicker, I would read the program like word for word. I would read through that church program was like everything to me.
Really?
Yes. I would read it word for word. They'd have the announcements. I would write on it, take notes. I'm reading everything because I'm trying to make this damn 5-hour long church service pass. Shit. So church announcements and the program is very dear to me. Yeah. So whip out the program, everybody. Justine, read us through these emails nice and slow.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And guys, if you're having church problems, I'm also really interested in that. If you're like dating a church boy, send us in your questions because I'm very interested in those. Please. So shout out to Lauren, who's a member of Lesbian Bachelor Nation. You guys are still trickling in. I love it.
Yes, love it.
And just saying how we're dealing with all of this foolishness and how do you do it? We love watching. That's usually what we get. Like they're laughing at us trying to do this. Then we have Tammy, who just shouted out, gave us some love, so thank you, Tammy. And then Kara sent us some tea about Annaliese.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Annaliese has been snooking for love on multiple reality TV shows. She sent us a screenshot of Annaliese in a terrible, treacherous Morticia Adams wig on Millionaire Matchmaker.
Was it a wig? It was her hair.
You think?
I think it was her hair, just dyed black.
She needs
oddly.
a protein treatment. That thing was looking like she got it from Ricky's. Anyway, so Annaliese had this terrible black hair. We're glad she's blonde now. And she was on Millionaire Matchmaker, which ended mad long ago. So she has been on this road,
journey for love.
This journey for quick and fast Instagram, millennial love for a long time. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And then somebody else sent us a screenshot, I think it was on either our Twitter or Facebook, of Kristen on the proposal, which is even faster.
God.
Oh my God.
These people really out here. I watched one episode of The Proposal, and there was a guy on there who was on Are You the One?
What?
So this is like a thing.
Oh my God.
So many crossover dating reality show contestants. Either they're looking for fame or they're really hungry for love and just go on every show. It's wild that they keep getting cast on multiple shows.
It is crazy. Me and Natasha one night, before, this is pre-podcast, pre-Bachelor for me, way pre-Bachelor, we were probably supposed to go out and ended up pre-gaming and not. And watched, I think it was First Kiss on TLC.
Yes. Love at First Kiss.
Love at First Kiss. And then we saw that same bitch on Millionaire Matchmaker like 30 minutes later. Girl, what are you doing?
So odd. Yes. How do they get cast on multiple shows at once? That is wild.
And then the network has the nerve, the gall to air it on the same night.
The same night.
Oh my God, that is so rude.
All right, time for Bachelor Nation news. And the only news is Today, Colton was announced as the next Bachelor.
Oh, God.
Steve. So, I mean, we called this.
Yes.
We put his name into the hat early, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Early on in the season. Personally, Colton was not my first choice. Mm-hmm. First choice, any person of color. Just anybody. I would even take Will's, and Will's bores me to death, but I would have even taken him. Second choice was Grocery Store Joe, as we said. And then my third choice was Colton.
Okay.
So, got my third choice at least.
Okay.
So my thoughts on this. So y'all know I've been standing for Colton. I've been on an island by myself, singing my baby daddy's praises. While people have not been fucking with Colton for quite some time now.
Oh my god, like months.
Months now. He's been dead to Bachelor Twitter. I will admit that I'm not as excited as I once was for a Colton Bachelor season. I think the Tia Colton thing just played out way too long.
Yep, that saga was terrible.
It was so long and terrible, and then we've just been so oversaturated with Colton. And not even like a fun Colton.
Nope.
It's been like a pathetic, annoying Colton. So like even I'm now kind of over him.
Yeah.
It sucks, and he's an interesting choice. He's very polarizing, which, as I said, is very similar to Nick Viall, who people couldn't stand Nick Viall, and then he was named. Personally, I loved Nick Viall. I'm always riding for the underdogs, clearly, and I think he put together a good season. He gave us Rachel, so
yep.
So yeah, I think Colton, as polarizing as he is, I feel like it could be. I think there's a lot of potential for this season to be as much, regardless of what you think about Colton, or you have to remember, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, the person is never really like the big thing. It's the people. It's the contestants who really make the show. So Colton can be a great or a dud, doesn't matter. Like because Ari fucking sucked, but then Ari's
garbage.
Girls were really interesting, actually. So it's who they get cast. I think Colton has potential. I think his season's going to be an epic disaster.
Yeah, me too. I'm so
Which means it's going to be epically amazing, I think.
Yep.
I think the producers they have really finessed their mess. Like, their messiness at this point. They've really gotten it down to a T. So I feel like they are going to orchestrate all kinds of just straight trash.
Yeah.
Just from the casting alone, I think we're going to see some straight nutbags. We're going to see a lot of virgins. We're going to see a lot of sex vixens. We're going to see some NFL groupies.
Yes.
Tia's going to make an appearance. Becca's going to make an appearance.
Of course.
Fantasy suites is going to be a thing because he's a virgin. What the hell is going to go down?
What are they going to do?
What is that going to be? Colton, he's clearly one who he can cry at the drop of a dime. He's going to be an emotional wreck the whole season. He's going to fall in love with multiple people.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mess.
Yeah, yep.
And I think it's going to make for a really good season, regardless of what people think of Colton. And honestly, I'm not that excited about Colton himself, but I do think that the producers are going to cast just straight crazies.
Yeah.
And it's going to unfold in a very delightful way.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So, I agree with everything you just said. I am not excited that it is Colton, especially the fact that my Eric went home today, and I could have been waiting in line in New York City somewhere, like, looking to, like, hello, this could have been me. Why? But anyway. So I'm not that excited for it to be him, but he's cuter than Ari. This will be my only second full Bachelor season. My first full Bachelor season was Ari.
God.
So it literally could have been anybody else.
Yeah.
And I would have been excited. I'm just glad they didn't get somebody from the back dungeon like they did with Ari, who's like 48 and was like, he needs a wife. No.
Exactly.
So I'm excited that he's cute. I'm excited that he's like younger than 35, because that's always interesting to me because it's been a while since I've touched one of those. And then I'm excited for just the mess that's going to go on, because we don't know if he lost his virginity to Tia in Paradise.
He did not. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, all right.
I feel like Colton, he's such an emotional person.
Yeah.
And I feel like he knows that about himself. He would be a fool to have lost his virginity to Tia in Paradise, in the state that he was in. Like, that would have been crazy.
Whew. So excited about that. But also a little weirded out that he's like this virgin who only dates these like number one sort of like the A-list girls, like in whatever arena he's in, the Olympics, reality TV, like whatever he's in, he just wants to date like the it girl. I think that shit is weird. And I think it's weird that he's like selling his virginity on TV. But you know what? We all gotta make our money.
He's selling his virginity on TV.
He is. He's selling it on TV. But you know what? It's fine. He has that Colton whatever wing in that hospital. Somebody gotta pay for that.
That's true.
So
the Colton Foundation or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think so. His age, I'm not excited that he's age-wise.
Is he 26?
He's 26. This is the same as Ben Higgins. When Ben Higgins was the Bachelor, he was 26. He was the youngest Bachelor. And that means all the girls are also very young.
Very young, yeah.
So, like, watching the show, it's almost like you're almost watching a show that, like, should be on MTV or VH1.
Yes.
Because of how young everybody is. So that I'm not very excited for. What do you think of the diversity, racial diversity?
For Colton Underwood from Colorado, I really don't know.
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything disparaging from what. Oh no, he said that Wendy Williams shit. Never mind. Never mind.
Lord, take that back up.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It'll take a certain type of black woman to want to date Colton. A very specific type that they are gonna have to look really hard for. So
it's gonna be a gaggle of white women. Just putting that out there.
Messy ones.
Messy ones. Complete nutbags.
Yep.
Becky's A through Z. Like just like crazies.
Yeah. That's why I'm excited, because they're gonna be loonies. Yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna get a lot of diversity from this season. I don't think so. So, but yeah, Colton, I'm looking forward to it, I guess. I'm looking forward to that first episode, the limo entrances and meeting all the girls, and just seeing the messy craziness that's gonna unfold. Because I think Colton aside, I think it's gonna be a very good season. The Bachelor producers, think about it. They started their mess and really interfering with Rachel's season, casting the racist and creating that feud with Kenny. Then they had that craziness with DeMario on Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh my
Then they had all the craziness on Becca's season. It's only been getting worse and worse.
Yeah, they went so far to have a sex offender on the show.
Full-on sex offender on Becca's season. So who knows what we're gonna get on Colton's season? It's gonna be great.
Who knows? Shit, we might get. Who knows? You know what? Now I'm getting more pumped.
Yeah.
I'm getting more excited now.
I think people are very disappointed on Twitter, but I'm like, you guys got to remember, the producers are on a roll. Yeah. They're gonna create an epically disastrous season filled with convicted felons and like crazed NFL movies.
S&M girls. Yeah. All types of stuff.
All kind of stuff. So
yeah, I'm excited.
I think it's gonna be all right. I think we'll be all right, guys.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. Should we get into the recap?
Yep. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So this week we picked back up from last week, where Eric was telling Angela that he was going out with Cassandra. a full 8 hours after he told her that she was the one and he would never go on another date, and they're all in and all this stuff. So everyone is shook on the island because everyone assumed that Eric and Angela were exclusive, so this is like very bizarre that he's going out on this date with Cassandra.
Yeah, I don't really know his motives for this, but...
Yeah, the whole thing was just weird.
Her boobs, never mind. Cassandra's boobs. What am I saying?
Did Angela have boobs? Angela had a body on her too.
Yeah, Angela definitely had like body.
Yeah,
but
body, she
Cassandra
had great hair.
New boobs.
New boobs. So, there we go.
There you go.
So yeah, Eric and Cassandra go off on their date, leave a devastated Angela behind. And they go off on their date, they're in town, they're eating popsicles, they're riding horses. Cassandra says that she likes Eric's confidence. Eric says, you know, 2 key values of his are consistency and honesty.
Why'd you have to do that? Why did you have to bring that up?
And I'm looking you dead in your eye, too, as I say it. Consistency and honesty. Meanwhile, Angela is back on the beach, devastated because Eric was inconsistent and dishonest. Oh my God, he really he gave it to me. He just threw it right at me.
He did. He did.
God. So Eric and Cassandra, they head off to some little festival. They're dancing, kissing, all that jazz. They sit and have a chat. Eric, the way he describes Angela, he says, yeah, we had some kind of a liking. We had a connection. And then he says, she wants to take things slow, but I'm not really getting anything in return from her. Sometimes you just need a hug. You just want some love. Someone you don't want to explain yourself to. What does any of this mean? Just...
Yeah, no, nothing. It just means that I don't want to date anybody seriously, is what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you just don't know what you want. Mm-hmm. And you have this great girl who is saying she wants to move slow or whatnot, but you're saying you want to hug and kiss. Like, I don't even know what the hell he's getting at.
Yeah.
So Cassandra had one question. She said, oh, okay, have you told her about this? Mm-hmm. Lies. Eric just started with the lies.
He did.
That's why I don't fuck with him right here, because he really just straight up lied. He said, he said, quote, we talked in spurts. And then said, but you know what? You're here. You're beautiful. Let's talk about you. Like, he did that whole...
Ooh, nigga-tree. But why is that important right now?
Right.
It's you and me right now.
It's just me and you, baby girl. Like,
my queen. It's just us.
Fuck out of here. So Cassandra, she's eating it up. She says, I appreciate your honesty. That's all I want. Eric's like, yeah, me too. I would never lead you on. I don't play in the gray area. These are words coming out of this man's mouth.
I know. That's
come get your man, Justine. Come and get your man.
Oh, my boo.
Your boo is out here being trifling. Meanwhile, back on the beach, Colton and Tia, she's saying, I'm just loving, Colton's honesty, how honest he's being with me. Meanwhile, Colton is sitting off with Kevin. Everyone, whenever they need someone to talk to, I love it.
It's Kevin.
They grab Kevin. Kevin has had conversations with literally everybody on this beach. Like, even people that you don't even expect that he's, like, friends with, he's had a conversation with about feelings and, like, what they should be doing. So Colton's in with Kevin and flat out says to him, like, my heart's not in it with Tia. I feel like I'm forcing it. Ugh, just cringy to hear. And he says, like, I'm hurting her. I can't sit on this beach anymore with her, knowing there's no future. Colton, cue the tears. My nigga can cry on the drop of a dime.
I feel like he's been holding in a lot of emotions, like, his whole life.
Yes.
So now they're just flowing out of him.
Flowing out. We said it on the whole time with his dad. He looked like he was told not to cry. Man up. And so now he can't stop the tears. Flowing out every 5 seconds. So he starts crying. No. He says, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been making other people happy. I've always put myself second. He even mentioned, like, with football, I kept playing with football because that's what people expected of me. But it seems like his heart was even really into football, it sounds like. So Colton finally pulls Tia aside and tells her that, you know, part of me has been struggling this whole time. Part of me wanted us to work so bad. And as soon as the past tense came in, you know it was over. I wanted it to work so bad, and it's just not there. You deserve someone who is crazy about you every single day. And I'm not it. So she's breaking down crying. She's like, can you honestly say that you tried? And he said, yep, sure did. Gave it my all, and still ain't it, girl. Gotta go. And he says what I thought was a good line. He says, I know what you deserve, and I can't give it to you. And Tia just broke down crying all the way. Yeah. Just all the way down. And, you know, she says through her tears, like, I hope you can go home, figure out yourself, figure out what the hell you need to do, get your life together. And they hug it out and go their separate ways. Tia goes up the steps to cry some more. Colton sits and cries some more. And this is where I awarded the both of them Nigga You Ain't Shit and Becky of the Week.
Fantastic.
Right here in this moment. Because, first of all, Tia, what did you expect?
I know. What did you think?
She has been thirsty, parched for this to be this man's rebound.
Yeah.
Flat out after he was full on in love with one of her friends. And who full on was bawling 3 days ago, almost went home because he saw your friend.
Yeah.
Like, what? So she ain't shit for that, and really thinking that this was actually going to be a thing. And then Colton ain't shit because he's been sitting here trying to force this shit when he knows damn well he should have went home from the day Becca came on the beach.
Yep.
Period. When he came back down the steps and told the guys, oh, I'm going to give it a chance, and all the guys looking at him like, what? He should have went home from then. So the two of them out here clowning the both of each other, looking like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And now they're both going their separate ways, which is why, you know, everyone was looking at them like, duh. And now y'all put us through 85 hours of this nonsense for y'all to break up in the end anyways. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
No, everything you said was true. There was no lies.
No lies. No lies. So Colton rides away in the car. You know, I don't deserve her. I'm broken. All this shit.
Oh my god.
So watching this, I mean, we knew he was gonna be the Bachelor. Like.
Oh yeah, instantly.
In that moment.
Yeah.
And now people on Twitter are wondering, like, did he do this because the producers told him, like, go home, you can be the Bachelor? Like, all these kind of, like, theories are coming up. I don't know if I believe that theory. I feel like Colton was a fucking mess. Like, at this point in time in his life. Yeah. I don't know if them dangling the Bachelor carrot in front of him was, like, his cue to go home. And, like, I feel like he was a mess. And he was tired of forcing it with Tia. He was tired of being on this beach. He was tired of the whole fucking thing and just went home.
Yeah, I feel like he was definitely tired of forcing it with Tia. And then making it an even sweeter deal where if he could leave Paradise, because he was not going to date anyone else, and he may have had to propose to her at the end.
Oh, God.
Like, if they made it to next week, he would have had to propose to her, or else she would have, like, thrown him in the beach and drowned him. Jesus. So, this works out much better for him. Because he can, like, work some stuff out for the next, 15 days?
Before Bachelor starts shooting. God.
And then starts shooting The Bachelor.
And then suddenly The Bachelor's going to be like, I'm healed now.
I'm ready.
I'm ready for love. Okay. All right. Because people are crazy. So, Astrid goes and tells everyone that Colton left. Everyone's face just drops. And Tia decides, I mean, what the fuck am I doing here? And so she decides to leave too.
Oh, yeah, because she's not dating anybody else.
Seriously. They're a package deal. So she comes, says her goodbyes as well, walks out in her bathing suit top.
And shorts in the nighttime.
Bathing suit top, shorts, a messy bun, red puffy eyes. Like, somebody help this girl out.
Someone give her like a one of them little mesh cover-ups.
Cover up, a little sweatsuit.
She can get on the plane like that.
Yeah. To freeze her ass in the damn airport. And she got no damn shirt on. Like, shit. So that's the end of Tia and Colton. See ya never.
See you never. Bye.
Bye. So done with them. So now everyone on the island's terrified because all these great, quote unquote, great couples are breaking up and shit.
Oh my god, and it's men's week too. And you know the men are like, well, you know, if Colton can break up with Tia,
I'm next. Yeah. So now Jenna is terrified that Jordan's gonna flip on her. She stages this big stupid tantrum where she like runs off on the beds crying, and the whole thing was stupid. Jordan like goes after her and is like comforting her, and they just seem very immature. They seem like a middle school couple to me.
Yeah, they really do. They seem like they are the middle school couple that's at the dance. Yeah, but they're on like a 18-day middle school dance.
Yeah, and they're 12 and 13 like years old.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Then Jordan, so this was a funny moment. Jordan is recording an interview, and Venmo John, so Jordan's recording an interview talking about Colton and Tia going home, blah, blah, blah. Venmo John, who just woke up from a nap, is like shuffling by the interview, kind of like interrupts. And he's like, so, yeah, I just woke up, like, I haven't seen Colton or Tia, like, what's going on with everybody? Jordan's like, they left. What? They literally just left. And John, Venmo John, who doesn't know what plan he's on right now, is like, wait, they can do that? What?
You guys, I snorted in laughter. Snorted. I was like, what do you mean allowed to do that? Kenny left because his daughter had a tap dancing recital.
You can leave, John. Like, there's no rules to this thing. So he's just all the way confused and just so adorable. It was so precious. So time for the nighttime. Angela's looking bomb. She's waiting for Erica.
So good.
She's waiting for Erica. She's waiting for Eric. Cassandra returned from their date, so she put on her little freakum outfit. Yeah. She had on this cute little red matching set. It was cute. Preparing for, Eric's trifling ass to return.
And we have to remember what things those were. He called her his queen. That's a red flag.
Angela.
That is a red flag, Angela.
She loved that queen shit, because every time she said it, every time she was having a conversation, she would bring it up. He called me his queen. He said this. He said that. He called me the queen. Girl, the man on 125th and Lenox selling shea butter calls me a queen. It don't mean shit.
This is what we're gonna get into. This is what I'm gonna get into it in just one moment, but this is context clues.
Context clues, girl. This was a red flag if we ever saw one.
Oh, God.
So, Eric and Cassandra return. Angela's trying to put on a brave face. Eric barely looks at her, like, when he comes back. And, him and Cassandra just go off and get food, and Angela's just sitting there, like, awkwardly, like, hello. Eventually, Eric comes around and grabs Angela. And they go off and have a conversation where he's like, I want to see where you're at. She immediately just breaks down. Breaks down crying. And said, you really hurt my feelings. You've been saying all these things. I bring you peace. I'm your queen.
Yeah.
You're all in. And then you just completely blindside me. What the actual fuck? Eric comes with his straight nonsense again, I just woke up this morning and felt differently. Angela put it best. She said, how does 8 hours of sleep change everything? Thank you, Angela. Drop a bomb right there. Hello. Because he keeps saying I woke up this morning and felt differently. You slept for 8 hours. 8 hours after you told me I'm your queen, and now suddenly you feel differently. What happened during your dream sequence to make you change? Oh my god. And then Eric, so now he's trying to do the backtrack. Now here comes the backtracking. You know, what does all in mean? Does all in mean that we're in a committed relationship? Angela's like,
that. See, and that's what Angela should have asked him. Because all this, my queen, you're my lady, you're my this, you're my that. As you said, the man on 125th will say those exact same things to you when you're carrying your grocery bags from Trader Joe's. That doesn't mean nothing. Yeah. You need to say, are we exclusive or no?
Clearly, that's what she needed to do with him. Because now he's taking these words and now, parsing them into, thirds and fourths and taking them apart. And now all in doesn't mean what one would think all in means, but okay. And then cue Eric's gaslighting routine, where he says, well, I don't feel like you're all in with me. You like me, but I don't think you really like me like that. That shit was so stupid.
Oh my god. Like, this girl's crying because you said that you changed your mind and went on a date with somebody else. She obviously likes you.
What are you talking about? And then he says, I went on a date with Cassandra, and I think she's great, and I want to explore that. Angela just kind of grins and says, all right. And then, this was my moment. I love this.
I know. This was great.
Fantastic. My girl Angela has a little kiki session with Cassandra. And Angela, first she approaches her. She's like, I don't want things to be weird between us, whatnot. And Cassandra said, yeah, he told me he went on the date with me because he was open to exploring things. Angela's like, well. This girl, proceeds to spill all the tea. She said, we had an established relationship. We both said we were all in. He told me he wasn't going to date anybody else. He told me I bring him peace. He called me his girl, his queen. She just laid everything on the table for Cassandra. And Cassandra was sitting there right there just literally eating it all up. Like, holy shit.
Because this is a conversation between a young lady who dates black men and then a young lady who doesn't.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? So Cassandra was hearing all them clues. Like, he told me this. He said he was my queen. He told me this. And then all of a sudden he changed his mind. Cassandra's been through that and back. Didn't she date NBA players? I know she has been done this. Like, yeah, she is not new to this. She is true to this. So Cassandra's like, okay, he did 1, 2, 3, and then 4B in the handbook? Oh, no. Okay, gotta run.
That's a good point, yeah. So Cassandra, she soaks in what Angela said, and she pulls Eric aside and said, Angela told me some things. Firstly, she told me she thought that you guys were the strongest couple here. Eric, immediately, I don't think so, I was honest with her. Maybe she took my words out of context. Oh my god.
That's not hard to do.
When people start saying that you took shit out of context, that's when I'm like done with you. That's like code for I'm about to gaslight the shit out of you.
Yep.
She took my words out of context. You've said to her, I won't take other girls out on dates. How do you take that out of context? Word for word, that's just what you said. So what? And then Eric was saying, well, you know what? When I said that, I was being true to myself in that moment.
That was the truth in that moment. Oh my god.
Cassandra literally laughs out loud because she this whole thing just sounds
because she's heard that shit before.
That she's been up and down the aisle with these niggas. She knows that this is ludicrous. This is completely ludicrous. And then Eric, he really was disappointed me because then he starts to blame Angela. You know, she says she's all in, but I didn't really feel that from her. You never said that to her.
Right.
You never once said that to her. You guys full on had a whole date at that hotel where both of y'all were singing each other's praises. You never said to her, I don't think you're all in.
Yeah, she definitely seemed like she was into it. She was smiling and happy and laughing and loving it.
So now you coming in trying to blame her? Like, stop. Then Eric, like, he, like, creepily puts his hands on Cassandra's leg.
I saw.
And he's like, you know what? I don't want you to have to deal with this. This isn't your issue.
Again, laughs.
Cassandra laughs out loud. And she's like, this 100% is my issue. What we had was 100% tarnished. And I'm frankly turned off by all of this. And she just says she's just, like, over it. And all of this is ridiculous. And, like, walks away. What the hell is Eric doing? Like, what is happening?
He just needed to admit that he didn't want to be monogamous. He wasn't ready to be monogamous, because the idea of regular monogamy is fine. But this Bachelor in Paradise, let's get down on one knee while we're filming, this is a whole other level of monogamous. So he's probably feeling very scared and, you know, anxious about that. But he should have been honest. Like, he should have been honest.
That's it. Because you can't be singing, talking about how you a man of honesty and integrity and consistency when you are literally being all of those things not. Like, you like...
Yeah, the contrary.
Yeah, the complete anti all of that. So, not good, Eric, not good. So Kevin and Astrid, meanwhile, are just watching all the drama unfold with everybody, which has further solidified their relationship, and they end up telling each other that they're falling for each other. So at least one couple seems to be, like, for real in love and, you know, a real... So next day in Paradise, we have a new arrival, and it is Shushanna, who was from Ben Higgins' season. She was also allegedly on Bachelor in Paradise season 3. I don't remember her at all. She's not memorable.
Damn,
I don't remember this girl, like, not one bit. So anyway, she shows up looking cute. Guess who's terrified? Annaliese. Annaliese, she just knows. New girl in Paradise, her man, that means her man's about to jump shit. Because
she's had her man for 4 hours.
4 hours, and anytime she's gotten just close to somebody, he runs off on a date and falls in love with somebody else. So she's terrified. And then suddenly we have a second new arrival.
Very random. They didn't do her right with this. They did Kristen really wrong.
Kristen, aka Scallop Fingers. She was.
Then they called her Scallop Fingers. Like,
that was her nickname that she earned last season over some stupidness where she was eating scallops and her fingers stunk or some shit. I don't remember. So she arrives, and she has a new face. I know you don't know Kristen.
Yeah.
Do you know her from somewhere?
Oh, you mean she got work done?
Yeah. Her lips look big. She looked like she's been doing some Botox or fillers. Her face looked very different to me. Her face looked very different.
Kristen.
I think she also might have had a boob job as well. I can't remember if this was this season or last season. Her boobs are looking nice though. They're big. New and improved. Kristen showed up to Paradise.
Wow, wasn't she like 27 or something? 28?
I don't know. You know these people be touching their face dumb early.
I know. What are you doing to your face that early? Anyway, Kristen, whatever.
So Kristen and Shushanna, they both have date cards, and they're going on a double date. Annaliese, you know, she says, I feel like Camille and I are the strongest couple here.
How do you feel that way? Where are you?
Oh my God.
What island are you on?
What show are you on, girl? She says, I feel confident about what we have. I trust him with my heart. Annaliese is very giving of herself to men.
Yes, I was about to say. Like, There's no protection. She does not protect herself at all.
Does not protect herself at all. She doesn't know what putting up walls is. Like,
no. Boundaries.
Never heard protecting her heart. Like, none of that. She just gives her heart freely to everyone. Like, it's not good. Which is very odd because she's 33. She's one of the oldest girls there. You would think she'd be a little bit more jaded. Like, a little bit more hardened. Which also, it's not good to be too hard. But it's also, what she's doing is the complete other end of the spectrum, where she's just too giving of herself with people who have no business with her heart. So, Shushanna, she pulls Camille aside. She's Armenian. I think she's Armenian, but then they're calling her Russian. I was very confused.
I know. I thought that was a little, like, racist, maybe. But anyway.
I don't know where she's from, actually. But she said Armenian.
Yeah.
Camille is Polish. He says later in the episode that apparently Polish people and Russians don't get along. It's like,
okay, which has nothing to do with
any. I feel like I don't know. Maybe she's of Armenian descent, but was raised in Russia, something like that. Like, I'm of Jamaican descent, but have been raised in America. Like, maybe that's what it was.
Right.
Anyways, she lives in Utah. He lives in New York. He, tells her, him and Annaliese are just friends. So he plays out Annaliese immediately and says that they're just friends and that he's open to exploring other options. Now, Shushanna, she admits to him that she stalked him on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, Camille has a type. He likes somebody who's a little bit more desperate. He's a 60-40 nigga. He likes somebody who's a little bit, a little bit more of a desperate, I don't know, like, kind of phones on him.
Yes.
Type.
So her saying that she stalked him on Instagram probably, like, turned him on, basically.
Yep.
And so she invites him on the date, and he says yes. He tells Annaliese that he's going on the date. The way he puts it to Annaliese is that this will be a test for their relationship.
The men have the roses and they just wild
out, man. Just wilding out here.
Oh my god.
This is a test for their relationship, and we're gonna see how this goes. It's okay, Annaliese. It's okay. Don't be in your head too much. I'll be back. Kristen Scallop Fingers, she invites Venmo John.
Oh yeah, she did. I forgot that this happened.
Yes. They first have a little chat. She already rubbed me the wrong way because she brought up the Venmo thing. Immediately.
Yeah, and she was like, you have to be really accomplished. Something. She used some word that, like, wasn't intelligent. She used some word, like, I don't know. I was like, girl, you need rich.
Right. Like, we know what you're here for, and you want that Venmo guy. Yeah. That's what it is. Kristen, to me, I can't take her seriously at all. She's, like, a bit of a caricature to me. Yeah. The fact that her name is Scallop Finger is just, like, from last season, too. She was a bit of a joke. She comes on Paradise this season. She looks like a completely different person. She's kind of like bimbo-ish. I don't know. She's just, I can't take her seriously at all. Anyways, John, he agrees to go on the date. So they go off on their dates. Annaliese, meanwhile, is having a full-on mental breakdown over a man.
Her daily.
Just daily.
Breakdown.
Yes, this is her daily check-in. 12 p.m. Time to break down. So she's having a full-on breakdown over Camille, a man she met no more than 48 hours ago. Yet she's claiming in her confessionals that if he proposed to her today, that she'd say yes.
She said that?
I missed that.
Ooh, I missed that.
She said that. Annaliese is a nut job. God.
Oh my god.
So John, Kristen, Camille, and Shushanna are off on their date. They're on a yacht, on a little tour with Jorge, the old bartender. And they're, having fun, splashing around, riding on a banana boat. They eventually head on to this little beach. Shushanna and Camille, to me, they were hitting it off.
Yeah, I thought they were bonding, but...
I thought they were bonding. I mean, later on, we learned that he's not really into her, but to me, he felt more she felt like more his vibe than Annaliese.
Yes.
does.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I was like, did I miss something here? Because I thought this was like a good match here, but apparently not. Back on the beach, Chris Harrison arrives. He says there will be more dates in Paradise, and then says that some new arrivals will be deciding who gets the new dates.
Mm-hmm.
In walks Ashley, I, and Jared.
Ugh.
Now keep in mind, Ashley I is Kevin's ex. This is his ex from Winter Games.
And Jared is the nigga who she cheated on him with.
Right. Jared is the nigga who she cheated on Kevin with, and now her and Jared are like a thing. After a 4-year-long like saga, they're now officially a couple. So really felt bad for Kevin in this moment.
Yeah, me too.
The whole thing felt it was obviously very forced and like orchestrated by the producers, all on his expense. The whole thing felt gross. I felt no one should have to be subjected to their ex ever. Like
yeah, especially with the person that you cheated on them with. Like this is horrible. This is bad. And then really you got the new girl here who's in love with you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of emotions.
Thing. Yeah. And then when Chris Harrison asked Jared, like, so how did you guys meet? Tell me your love story. You know, Jared obviously just casually glossed over the fact that Ashley cheated with him. Cheated on Kevin with him. But alright, let's just sweep that under the rug. Like, that never happened. So, Chris Harrison says that Ashley and Jared have a date card. And they're going to be down on the beach. And each of the couples will go up to them one by one and kind of plead their case for the date. So, Ashley and Jared leave. Head off to the beach. And then, Chris Harrison reveals that this isn't actually the reason why Ashley and Jared are here.
God.
They're here for a totally different reason. And we, of course, know this is the moment that Jared is going to propose. To Ashley. So they recap the whole Jared and Ashley mess, their 4-year-long saga. We see them walk down, to the other end of the beach. And Jared gives his whole little speech and then proposes to Ashley. While everybody, Kevin included, had to watch.
And Astrid, too.
And Astrid, yeah. Having to watch her now lover watch his ex-lover get proposed to and then see him getting all broken up about it. Like, the whole thing is really bad for both of them. So they get proposed. Everyone's all excited. Jenna's jumping for joy. She says quotes. I love how she put this. To see something so great come from such a tragic mess of ups and downs, it gives us all hope. Ashley and Jared, their love story, people love their love story, but love, should it be that hard?
I was just gonna say, I find it very toxic.
Yeah.
Their love story.
It's not
like,
cute.
The fact that she had to, wait around for him to realize that he was at all attracted to her for 4 years, that's too long.
Way too long. Like, the whole thing is not that cute. It's really not that cute.
It's very sad to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy. I feel conflicted because I know Ashley, she ain't my favorite person, but she's been riding for Jared this whole time, and so it's nice to see her get her happy ending, I guess.
Right.
Like, the man that she truly in her heart believes is her soulmate. But, yeah, their whole story is not as cute as, people are trying to make it seem.
No.
Like, it's a fucking mess. So, yeah. Jared and Ashley, everyone's riding around them, popping champagne, and they eventually leave. Mind you, I thought this was very weird editing. We saw no interaction between Kevin and Ashley, or Kevin and Jared. We never saw, and I'm sure there was a hug between Kevin and Ashley. I'm sure there was something between him and Jared. We didn't get any interaction at all. It wasn't until after Ashley and Jared left, suddenly the cameras are on Kevin. Right. And we're getting Kevin's whole side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was weird how they played that. I'm wondering what we didn't see. So Kevin, he's upset naturally. He was he feels like he was a pawn in their whole scheme, essentially. How she, went off with a guy, that she had a history with right after him, and now they're engaged. The whole thing just feels, he feels like he was like a chess piece in this whole game, essentially.
Yeah, because he was the last one. He was like the last rebound before she got to him. Yeah.
Before she got to him, exactly. Astrid is obviously worried about how this whole Ashley thing is going to affect Kevin's, confidence, trust issue, like all the issues that he's been having. Kevin, has a little venting session to Jordan where he says something a little, you have to read between the lines here. He says to Jordan, I was a very monumental part of Ashley's dating life. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, we know. Okay, all right.
Looks like Ashley lost her virginity to Kevin. So the question we were always wondering from from Winter Games, if they got down and dirty in that room, or maybe not that room, maybe afterwards.
Yeah, maybe after, but still.
Yeah, Kevin, in so few words, said that.
Yeah.
At least what I'm thinking, that she lost her virginity, and so. It was just very weird for him to see someone who they had such an important kind of thing between them. Now she's going off and getting engaged.
And you should always be nice to that person. Like, come on. They took your precious gift.
Right.
Anyway, Ashley, bitch. I can't stand Ashley. I hate Ashley so much.
She's not my favorite person.
Yeah.
Not at all. Particularly now that I love Kevin even more, like I can't stand her even more. Yeah. So anyways, a date card arrives, and thank God it is for Kevin and Astrid.
I know. I thought that was nice of them.
Yes, they deserve this more than anyone.
Yeah.
So they go off on their dates. They go to this beautiful hotel for dinner. And Kevin. He says, today was the last thing that I thought would ever happen to me happened today. My ex got engaged right in front of me. So that's
in front of my
the guy
face.
that she cheated on me with, so that's awesome. And then he kind of, breaks down. He said he's, of all his relationships, he's never really felt like he's been good enough. And, that fucking sucks. Astrid, she's trying to comfort her man. She says, well, I want you to know that I've more than fallen for you. I'm full on in love with you. And I feel like that's what he needed to hear in this moment.
Yeah, I loved how she kind of read through the situation to see what he needed to hear and got over her pride of saying it first. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of girls don't want to say it first. And she already knew he was triggered AF from the day. And she just wanted to, since his sadness is her sadness, which she said earlier, she just wanted to make sure that he knew that she had his back in that way. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, that was nice. It was a good moment to drop the L-bomb, if any. I mean, I know she's been feeling it for a while, so this was definitely the time to drop it. Yeah. And then Kevin drops it in return.
Yep.
And so they are in love, and they are, swimming in the pool, kissing, all lovey-dovey. Love it. Meanwhile, Annaliese running around the beach.
Yeah.
Like the nutbag she is. Anxiety has been on a level 10. Her Xanax need a refill.
She probably ran out by now.
She ran out. And she's just anxiously waiting for Camille and Shushanna. So, Camille and Shushanna return. He doesn't immediately go and find Annaliese, which is kind of like, what's going on? Everyone is sitting back with their popcorn, watching what the fuck is about to go down. And then Annaliese, which is so sad and pathetic, she had to go up and approach him.
Oh my God.
You would think him coming back from the date, he would find her. No. Annaliese had to go to him and ask him to talk. So they have their whole little, conversation. Camille tells her all about the date and says that the connection with Shushanna was not there, actually.
Which is if she was rolling around in the sand with her. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, which was news to me because I felt like they hit it off, but I guess not. And so that, of course, is everything that Annaliese wanted to hear. She says in her confessional, I hope he proposes. I've been waiting for him. Camille and I were meant to meet in paradise. I 100% see him in my life after this. Like,
what? Oh my god. You're about to uproot your whole entire life for this man whose job is an ex-social media participant?
Who you've known for 48 hours.
That's it. 2 days.
That is it.
One date.
One date. Then she invites him to spend the night in her room.
Wait, okay. I have questions about this. So in Paradise, is it like the real world where there's just like one room with doors? So you don't hear people like going crazy?
Yes. I think there is like a fantasy suite, or there's like a...
Yeah, like a private room.
Yeah, like a boom boom room kind of thing.
Yeah, boom boom room.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Is there only one?
I'm not sure.
I would love to know how many boom boom rooms there are. I feel like there's multiple.
There might be multiple.
Yeah.
But looks like Camille and Annaliese were the first to christen it. I mean, I don't know who else was knocking boots.
She got on that sign-up sheet immediately.
Like, got up in that room. Yep. Trying to solidify her man.
Yep.
So yeah. Then John and Kristen return from their dates. Olivia immediately pulls him aside and says, just has to let it all out how much she likes him. And John, also agrees that...
with everyone. John has no type. He just agrees with everyone.
Yeah, whatever. He's here to make out and, have fun.
That's it.
And so, he agrees with her that their date was awesome and that, he had a good time. Doesn't make any mention of Kristen and their date. So, it didn't seem like they had much going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But, actually, John walks Kristen back to her room and then they make out. So,
yeah.
Who knows where John said is at? He's just trying to make it to the next day. Time for the cocktail party. We have 7 guys and 11 girls.
So many.
The men have the power. 4 girls gotta go home. So the guys whose roses are really up for grabs are Eric, Venmo John, and Camille. So Shushanna, she's feeling very unconfident after her date with Camille, because as soon as Camille got back, he went and slept with Annaliese. So
right.
I think that's a cue that your date did not go very well. So Cassandra and Eric, Cassandra pulls him aside because, as you said, she's been here, done that with these niggas. So she either knows how to deal with them or she's ready to put in work for them. I don't really know. But she's ready to, give Eric another chance. And she said that she hasn't given up on Eric. And she's ready to push the reset button. Like, all right, better you than me, girl. Have them.
Yeah, please.
John and Kristen have little moments. And then John runs over to Olivia. They have a moment. John is just out here big pimping. Just, it's his natural state. It's a natural state of things for John in Paradise at this point. He always has at least 2 girls in the bag.
Yep.
At least. So now Shushanna really wants to talk to Camille, but he's always with quote unquote the blonde girl. She is
disrespectful for this.
She has not learned Annalise's name, refuses to acknowledge her by name, just continues to call her the blonde girl. And so eventually she, gets out of her awkwardness and approaches Camille. And says, I feel like I pushed you away. I want to know if I made any mistakes. I see you with the blonde girl all the time. Is there any chance for me still?
Oh my God.
Shushanna, you've never looked more unattractive to a man than in this moment when you're begging him for I don't even know, best practices on how to win his heart. Best practices. What is she doing here?
Yeah.
And so Camille is very boring, but he speaks very plainly and is honest when he speaks, which is, I like this. He says flat out, I don't feel like we had a connection. I don't feel like there was much conversation between us. I gave it my all on the date, and yes, Annaliese and I were in the friend zone initially, but after this date, I just feel like I don't really have anything there with you. So
bye.
Bye. Shushanna obviously doesn't take that very well and is like off in a corner, like breaking down, bawling. Why can't I just be loved? Is what she says. Chris Harrison arrives again and announces that we have a new revival. This is crazy. This is right before rose ceremony.
Yeah.
Where we already have like mad people on the island. Like, why are more people coming? So our new arrival is Jordan. Jordan from Bachelor Winter Games. He was from New Zealand. He had a little thing with Bibiana. He was also the Bachelor New Zealand. Like, he was the Bachelor. So he's here again for his third chance at love. Very odd that Jordan is here to me.
Okay, I thought so too.
Okay.
So I thought it was completely ridiculous. I think it's crazy that this man who is at least 36, at least, is here looking for love in a whole different country.
Yes, another
on
hemisphere.
The 5th week of a 6-week program, and is looking for his decrepit ass for love. I think this is so far-fetched to me. Like, the idea of Jordan is so far-fetched that it's just, like, he should have come by at least week 3, because this is just foolish.
This is foolish at this point.
Yeah.
And he lives in New Zealand.
And he lives in New Zealand. He's not moving for nobody. No. And that is so far away. What is that, 28 hours away?
Yes. Like, what? Nobody's trying to move there. I'm sorry. No. And I wouldn't advise you to move to America either. So stay in New Zealand. But finding a woman to move there with you is on week 5, as you said, of 6-week paradise is just preposterous. Like, what are you doing here? Oh my god. So Jordan arrives. He pulls the women one by one. Chris and Angela and Chelsea. Chelsea, she's into anybody at this point.
How is she still here?
How is she still here? She hasn't had a real connection with anybody. So she sits with Jordan. She reveals that she has a child, and I feel like she said that she lives in Maine, and she's probably not going to be leaving Maine anytime soon. Well, ... Just as their conversation gets into it, Shushanna interrupts, so we don't even really get to see the ending of that. Chelsea, she's pissed that she got interrupted because she wanted to see where things could go with Jordan. And then Chelsea, she starts to think, maybe Jordan's not for me. What about Camille? Suddenly she's eyeing Camille.
Annaliese has been confiding in you for
all
hours.
Day. Annaliese has been running up and down the island talking to anybody who will speak to her. Everybody's running for cover, so Chelsea's been talking to her more than anybody. And now suddenly Chelsea wants to chat with Camille. Just bizarre. She says she doesn't believe in what Annaliese and Camille have. Annaliese hasn't really given Camille a chance to get to know any of the other girls. Translation here, Chelsea is saying, Annaliese is batshit crazy. I've listened to her nonsense all day. There's no way in hell that Camille would go for a girl like her, and I need to slide in there. This is what she's saying. Chelsea pulls Camille aside and says, I feel like you haven't really had a full chance, haven't had a fair shot here. Camille agrees. He says, I'm confused. I agree. I don't really feel like I've had a full shot. I wish I got to meet everybody before Annaliese. And then he says, I think you're attractive. I just, we didn't get a chance, I just didn't get a chance to talk to you. And, that's really it. He's not saying, if you read between his lines, he's not saying to Chelsea, like, I'm giving you a chance. He's saying, you're a pretty girl. Had things worked out differently, I would have talked to you. But the fact of the matter that's it. I'm with Annaliese.
Yeah.
So Annaliese, she's watching all this. She's literally watching her friend backstabbing her. in the moment.
Oh my god, she was like, they're holding hands, now they're not holding hands, what do they do? Like, she was, whew.
With her binoculars, like, watching them.
Yeah.
And Chelsea, you know, she's just telling Camille, like, you know, you have the rose, you have the power, so do what you have to do. Mm-hmm. Like, letting him know that, like, she's open if you want to give a rose. Bizarre. So Chelsea, you know, she grabs Annaliese, which she should have done before, but okay.
Right.
All ass backwards. So now she grabs Annaliese and says to Annaliese, you know, Camille feels different, and Camille thinks he hasn't had time to get to know other people. And he said he wanted to get to know me more. Chelsea.
Yeah, she spun this all around. She gaslighted Annaliese.
She gaslighted Annaliese, her friend.
Her gaslit.
Her friend. What are you doing?
Oh my god.
And then she spins all of this and says to Annaliese, like, I think, you know, I'm telling you this because as a woman, I think you should know.
Yeah, see? Again, with the gaslighting, like, as a woman. I'm coming to you as a woman.
As a woman. Girl, what is this fake girl code ass bullshit that you trying to do right now?
Oh my god.
Stop. So yeah, so Chelsea basically at this point, she's just trying to destroy anything that Annaliese and Camille has so she can slide on in there. But really, Chelsea's like, she's on her own doing this. Like,
honestly, because it's like 15 minutes before she has to go home.
It's like 15 minutes before the ceremony. Like, this is not the guy that you should be putting your energy into.
No.
Like, stop. No. This is not it. So yeah, so before rose ceremony, everybody gathers together. They have little seats. Annaliese straight up confronts Chelsea, and says, like, I feel like you need to stop poking a bear, leave our relationship alone, you know, blah, blah, blah. So we go into the rose ceremony. You know, things unfold as usual. Kevin gives to Astrid. Jordan gives to Jenna. Chris gives to Crystal. Joe to Kendall. Eric had a decision between Cassandra and Angela, and he gave it to Cassandra. Just really played Angela all the way out. Angela...
No, I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see that coming either. That was really trifling. Jordan, New Zealand Jordan, gives his rose to Shushanna. Also very random. Venmo John gives his rose to Olivia, not fucking Kristen Scallop Fingers, thank God. And then Camille gives his rose, obviously, to Annaliese.
Yep.
And Chelsea's just left looking like a fucking psychopath. So, going home was Chelsea, Angela, and Kristen. Kristen, at the end of the rose ceremony, like, fell out sick. I don't even know.
Yeah, she fell out on the floor.
They, like, gave her a second of screen time and then just completely bypassed that moment.
Yeah.
Like, what? And Chelsea is left having a panic attack in the confessional because she failed again to find love and feels like she left her son for nothing, essentially.
Yeah.
So, next day!
Yeah.
Next day, we have 8 couples. Everyone seems to be, like, you know, most of them are stronger than others. Jordan and Jenna, Kevin and Astrid, John and Olivia, Joe and Kendall, Shushanna and, you know, New Zealand Jordan, Chris and Crystal, Camille and Annaliese, Eric and Cassandra. Chris Harrison arrives and announces that they have some special guesses who themselves have found love on Paradise, and they'll be joining us, and it is Jade and Tanner and Carly and Evan. Both of which, yes, met on Paradise, and both have kids now together. So they have a date card, and they are going to decide who gets the date card. So all the couples have to speak with them, like, one-on-one. Jordan and Jenna meet with Evan and Carly. Jordan claims he's ready to propose to Jenna, which is a crock full of shit.
Yeah, like, it's so ridiculous. I believe him. in the second that he said it, but it's crazy to think so.
It's crazy to think that this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Kevin and Astrid apparently said that she loved him on the first date.
Oh, shit.
I feel like that's what I heard. Maybe I misheard that. Not sure.
Well, I guess that was their first date, right?
Technically, yeah. That's true, on their first date. Camille and Annaliese. Camille out the gate says that he wants to slow down. Because he isn't quite ready for the type of love that Evan and Carly have. Annaliese, this is news to her ears, so she's completely caught off guard. They're obviously on two different pages. John and Olivia. John admits he's kissed 6 girls on Paradise. Just, again, out here, big pimping. Yeah. They are obviously not getting the date card because this is just
yeah, no. This is where he was like, people get married on this shit? Yeah. Like, for real?
For real? Eric and Cassandra. Eric is still talking about his move the cheese bullshit.
Yeah, just talking in circles around and around.
What is this?
Because he probably wished that was Angela. And it was, instead of sitting there, Cassandra, he didn't even know her.
Don't even know this girl. How you send home... I'm sorry, we can get back to this. How you send home Angela, somebody you've been kicking it with since day one. You send her home on the 11th hour for somebody that you don't even know. Are you serious? Like, it doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Joe and Kendall, they're just adorable and cute and awkward, and, you know, everyone, Carly and Evan eat it all up, and so the date card goes to Kendall and Joe. And then Evan says, you know, we've prepared this epic date, the best, most epic date in Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise history, but Joe and Kendall, you would not be going on it. It's actually myself and Carly, Jade and Tanner will be going on that date, and instead you guys will be babysitting. This is my ultimate nightmare.
Oh my god, I would love it.
You would love this. You love kids.
Oh my god, me and Kenny, please, we'd kill it.
You and Kenny would murder this date. This is my nightmare. I want kids. I'm just not there yet. I'm still not a kids person, not a baby person.
And other people's little babies, those were babies. Like, no talking babies. No. Like, little babies. Yeah.
So, them little babies, I don't even know what to do with them, so. Nightmare. So, Kendall and Joe, this is their date. They had to build a crib, which was Joe was a mess.
Crazy.
They were failing.
It looks like a IKEA crib.
Like an IKEA crib they had to put together. And Joe was doing terribly. And then the babies arrive. And Joe, he says, you know, his cousins have babies, so he's been around babies. He's feeling good about this. And he just looks adorable. Like, with these kids.
Cute.
Yeah. This one baby is just crying and screaming her head off. Like, the minute she was handed to Joe, she was just a wreck. And he was failing miserably to soothe her.
Yeah.
Like clockwork. As soon as Kendall gets the baby, it stops crying. Like,
it stops immediately.
The whole thing. And so, you know, eventually Jade and Tanner and the rest of them return, like, you know, a couple hours later, and send Kendall and Joe off on a real date.
Yeah.
They go.
Well, I mean, was it? It was like a blanket and margaritas.
Right.
But,
It was like they got to go into town and get happy hour. Like.
Yeah.
So Joe, he says, you know, that date obviously made things feel very real to him.
Yeah.
Even more so because these were Jade and Tanner and Carly and Evan's kids, and they all met on Paradise. So, like... Yeah,
this is like the manifestation of what could happen on Paradise.
Yeah.
As humans.
This could be us. And then he says to her, like, you know, I only want to date you. I really like you. You know, this is typically the moment where I freak out and backpedal, and, you know, I have commitment issues, but that's really because I haven't really met the right person. Until now.
No.
Yeah. And so him and Kendall are like a sure thing now. Back on the island, everyone is kind of freaking out, having baby fever. Everyone's feeling just inspired by, Jade and Tanner, Carly and Evan. Annaliese is even more obsessed with Camille. She's climbing all over him.
Because she's had those babies in her head.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yup. Got the names and everything.
Needs to get to going.
So Annaliese and Camille looking all happy. Cassandra points out to Eric how, look how happy Camille and Annaliese are. Eric, immediately, he's just like not... His whole mood, his tone, he just is in a sour mood. He just says, well, that's not us. We move at our own pace.
Oh my God.
Let's be friends first and then romance.
Nigga, you have 3 more days left on this beach.
What are you talking about? And also, this is all very confusing because it seemed like he sent Angela home because she was moving too slow.
Right.
And now suddenly you want to move slow with Cassandra. What? Like, which is it? Make up your mind. This is crazy. So Cassandra, she's picking up on the bullshit. And she says to him, like, it sounds like you have a lot going on. You have a lot of growing to do and things going on with you. Maybe you shouldn't even be here in paradise.
Ooh.
And, Eric takes that in and walks off. Eric decides to sit down with Kevin, Dr. Kevin. PhD. And says how he's just so emotionally drained. Ever since Angela went home, like his whole mood, his whole energy.
Ever since he sent Angela
Ever since he
home?
sent, well, yeah, true, correction. Ever since he sent Angela home, his whole mood, everything has just been off. And he tells Kevin, he's just so emotionally drained. Cassandra's only getting half of him, and that he doesn't even know if he belongs in paradise right now. And he's all sad and crying and shit like that. Eric, he don't get no sympathy from me. This is my theory on Eric.
Okay.
On this whole thing. I feel like Eric got caught up in the Bachelor hoopla. He was parading around paradise with Angela in this fake-ass paradise relationship because he felt like that's what he had to do. He saw everybody on the island in paradise love couples, and he got caught up in the hoopla. Him and Angela hit it off. She's a pretty girl. They have a decent connection. And so he kind of just like fully went into this whole quote-unquote relationship, this Bachelor relationship with her. When really deep down, he knew that he wasn't really feeling her like that. I feel like he liked Angela as a person. She's pretty. They hit it off. But I feel like in his soul, he knew that she was not the one.
Yeah, because the other couples who he was modeling his relationship after are like, oh, no, this is my person for life. And he was not there.
No, you could tell Angela was not his person for life.
No.
And he knew that, but he kept up with the whole shenanigans, the Bachelor in Paradise shenanigans. And so what he's going through right now is, one, feeling really shitty about how he treated Angela and having her going home. And two, he's sitting here with this girl that he doesn't know, about to do the whole hoopla again. Like he's now recognizing that he did himself dirty and did everybody dirty by doing this nonsense. And he's feeling real bad about it. He could also, because he seems like he's very much in his head, and I kind of hinted at this earlier, that maybe he also was kind of just going through his own mess. Kind of like how Colton's going through something, like, internally. Yes. I feel like Eric is also kind of going through something internally as well.
Yeah, probably.
And so when he's saying he's going home and it doesn't really make sense to the viewers, I feel like the cameras also couldn't really... I feel like the producers also didn't really know how to frame the story.
Yeah, probably because he was probably hiding, again, behind some empty words.
Yep.
Talking about mice and cheese and the moon and the stars and all this other stuff. Because he was just hiding whatever he may be going through in his personal life.
Exactly. And probably not also sharing it in his confessionals.
Right,
Hence why they couldn't even piece together a story here.
Can't even, nope.
Nothing. So Eric goes and wakes up Cassandra from her little nap and basically tells her that he's made the decision to go home. He has no business being here. He apologizes and thanks her for being her. Thank you for being you. That's what he says. And then he, says goodbye to everybody. He's breaking down crying. He's in the back of the car, bawling. Like, Eric is really going through something.
Yeah.
It's really something he's going through. He's having his Colton moment. Internally, something is brewing, and he needs to get the fuck out of here. So, see you later, Eric. See you never.
See you in therapy.
Actually. Or see you in Bachelor in Therapy. Another date card arrives. It goes to Chris and Crystal. Mm-hmm. Chris wants to tell Crystal that he is in love with her. So while they're off on their date, everybody else is on the island. They're having a little bonfire, and they're playing Truth or Dare. Jordan dares John and Olivia to kind of recreate this kiss that Evan and Carly did. They have to eat a pepper and then kiss, and it's, like, gross. Annaliese asks Shushanna if she believes in love at first sight. And she says yes, as she literally stares down Camille. Jordan asks her, is there anyone here you would have liked to kiss? And she says yes, as she again stares down Camille. Shushanna just keeps on staring at Camille, totally creeping him out. Camille says during Truth or Dare that he is in a committed relationship with Annaliese.
Yeah.
Like, flat out says it. And Shushanna, still, she's just not buying this connection that he has between them. Doesn't think that it's gonna be them in the end. And is really convincing herself that Camille, in some weird way, is into her.
Yeah. It's one thing to say, like, oh, he's not into Annaliese, even though he's saying he's in a committed relationship with her and is, like, all over her all the time. Right. It's a whole other thing to be like, but instead he's into me.
Yeah.
Girl.
Like, now you're just making shit up. Like, what the hell? So Jordan, so mind you, New Zealand Jordan gave Shushanna his rose. So he's actually wanting to, like, make something happen here. Yeah, he had expectations. Yeah. And he's just sitting here wondering when the hell she's going to stop, like, sulking about Camille. And, you know, he has a conversation with her, where she basically just tells him, like, she's not over Camille, and she feels, you know, crushed and, you know, all this stuff. I feel like Jordan's really regretting his decision here to choose Shushanna.
I'm sure he could have chose Chelsea, who definitely would have been all over him, because who cares at this point? Would have gotten some dick in paradise, like, come on.
Something. So Chris and Crystal, they're off on their dates, singing each other's praises. They tell each other that they're in love with each other. Cue the music, some piano players, some singers.
I can't believe they got the concert. They got the double doors.
The fucking double doors appeared, and suddenly some mystery Instagram singers singing.
Oh my god.
Did you catch their names? I didn't even catch their names.
It was like Hans something, and then I couldn't get out of my head that they were Hanson because it was two blonde men, so I just called them Hanson.
So yeah, they get a little concert, kiss, dance, they're, like, official thing now. Another date card arrives, and it goes to New Zealand Jordan. He tells Shushanna that he would like to take her out on this date. And she tells him no, because she is not fully moved on from Camille.
How? This is why people don't think you were in Bachelor in Paradise Season 3, girl. Because do you not know? If you get a date card, you go.
Girl, like, what? Clearly doesn't know how this show works.
No.
Also, you haven't moved on from Camille from your one date. You went on one date. This is not a relationship that you had with him, and you're trying to, like, repair yourself. This was one date that you went on.
One day, and then that same day he fucked somebody else. You need to get over him.
Like, literally came back from your date and went into the boom boom room with Annaliese. Like, get over yourself, please. Also wanted to mention a little theory I have here. I feel like Shushanna and Camille, I might have said this last week, I can't remember. They have maybe a little past. Not a past, but, like, they might have DM'd each other.
Oh.
So because it sounds like she came in with some high expectations of what this Camille meeting would be. And she's, like, so devastated beyond belief. She could actually just be crazy. Like, she could just be a nutbag.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like they, maybe before the show, exchanged a couple DMs. You know, they were liking each other's stuff. So she came in feeling like, you know...
Well, she hinted to that when she said, oh, I stalked you on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. So,
and he was like...
right. He knows what she's talking about. She slid into the DMs.
Yep.
Y'all was DMing back and forth. Stop playing. So, she turns down the Jake card from Jordan. Jordan asks Cassandra instead. Yeah. And in that moment, Shushanna pulls Camille aside again and tells him that she, you know, obviously has something towards him, and she is holding on to his words, where apparently on their date he said, or at some point, I don't remember when he said this, he said to her, like, if they had another date together, things might be different. So she's holding on to those words.
Yeah, what?
Which, who knows if he even said those words? She could have just pulled that shit out of thin air, because this girl's nuts. But yeah, she's holding on to this hypothetical that he allegedly put out there. And Camille, again, very plain with his words, very honest.
Yes.
Couldn't be any more transparent. He said, I don't see it. It's not there between us. There's no spark. I can't see it working between us. Like, there is no future between us. I don't like you.
No.
Like,
no, nothing.
She can't take no for an answer. I don't believe you. Things can change. Look at Carly and Evan.
Oh my god.
They didn't really like each other Carly didn't really like Evan in the beginning. She believes that he's the one that's not being honest, and that he actually has feelings for her, that he's not sharing for some reason. She's a nutcase. I feel like any eye contact that he makes with her, she is taking that as a sign that he loves
it's
her.
a sign of his love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When really, he's just looking in that direction. Like, he's not... You know when you're, like, walking on the street, you, like, accidentally make eye contact with that guy, and then he's like, hey, Bob, what's up, what up? And I'm like, I was not looking at you in that way. My eyes had to go somewhere, and they fell on your eyeballs, and that's it. So Camille eventually goes and talks to Annaliese and tells her that, you know, he's the one that kind of puts out the Russian witch thing first.
He does the propaganda.
He started this propaganda, this rumor. He tells Annaliese that, you know, every time she stares at me, it's almost as if she's like a Russian witch putting a spell on us. Annaliese immediately runs and talks to Shushanna and is telling her, like, look, Camille's off limits. He's my man. You need to back off. You know, leave us, you know, in peace. Shushanna, she's just talking in circles about her feelings and all this shit. And Annaliese is like, look, there was nothing between you on the date. Everyone even said that on the date there was nothing between you guys. Also, I've heard you've been putting spells on us.
Like, she took it. She took it and ran.
And so that obviously pissed Shushanna off, and she was like, look, I've answered your questions. Like, what else do you want from me? Get the fuck out of my face.
Right. Now you're putting up, like, weird, crazy stereotypes on me?
Yeah. Get out of here.
That I'm a Russian witch when I walked in here saying I'm Armenian? Oh, my God.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Very odd. And then, suddenly, we have a new arrival to Paradise.
Why?
Because this thing ends in 3 days, but yet we still have to bring new people in. It's so stupid. In walks Diggy. Shout out to Diggy. We love Diggy.
Friend of the show.
Diggy, he comes with a date card, obviously. He pulls Shushanna aside first. And she's just still the same bullshit. She's still hung up over Camille. She's not over, you know. Diggy says, we want to go on this date. She said, you know, I would go as friends. What are you doing?
That's not, like...
No. She's starting to piss me off because, like, Chelsea or Angela could have been here.
Yep.
You took a spot from someone who was... two people who are open to making it work with anybody.
Oh, girl, could you imagine if Angela went out with Diggy?
Thank you! That would have been a good little look there. I thought that would have been really cute.
Yeah.
And he would have loved
and
Angela.
And it's messy.
Huh?
He would have loved Angela. And that shit is messy because he dated his friend.
Oh, that's true. Fresh off Eric. Yeah.
Nah, they're friends.
That could have been a cute little storyline.
Yeah.
Instead, Angela's sitting at home and Shushanna's sitting here turning down dates again.
Even Cassandra, who we know has a little bit of a, you know, a type. Could have gone out with Diggy.
Yeah, but she's off with
probably would have preferred Diggy.
She's off with
old
New Zealand Jordan.
Yes.
So yeah, Shushanna turns down yet another date from Diggy. Diggy then invites Olivia. Olivia's super hyped because she actually was hoping Diggy would be here. So she's getting her wish come true. And but before Olivia goes off on her date, she has a little, heart-to-heart with her friend Shushanna, and she tells Shushanna, like, look, I think you made a really big mistake by not going on that date with New Zealand Jordan. Yeah. And now, she kind of planted that seed in Shushanna's head. Now, suddenly, Shushanna, like, misses Jordan, and, like...
Yeah, very odd.
This girl doesn't know which end is up. So, Diggy and Olivia on their dates, they hit it off. Don't really see much. They have cute conversation. We learn how Diggy got his name. They, share a kiss at dinner. And then there's this random trumpet player who's playing a solo show. It was very weird.
Yeah, which was a little much.
It was like them on a street. It was like a trumpet player and the two of them dancing awkwardly.
Yeah.
And just, odd. Back on the island, or back on the beach, Venmo John, his girl Olivia is now on the date with Diggy, so Jenna has a little conversation with Venmo John, and she asks him, what are you looking for? I love me some John, because the very first thing he said was a good listener. And y'all know that is my number one thing. I've said that up and down on this podcast. So he said the number one thing he's looking for is someone who's a great listener, and then from there he said open and honest, and then one other thing I don't remember. And how, Jenna's just urging him, like, when Olivia gets back, like, you need to go for it. Because John, he's too easy breezy. He's shooting the shit. Yeah. He's drinking margaritas.
He doesn't know who left. He probably still don't know Eric left.
Napping through people leaving, doing laps in the pool, just really not here looking for anything. And so John is trying to tell him, like, make sure you go get your girl. Jordan and Cassandra returned from their dates. We didn't really see much of their date. They were, like, off in the ocean, like, splashing around or something.
Yeah, it was weird.
They returned from their date. Everyone immediately fills in Jordan on Shushanna's craziness while he's been gone. How she's been up and down the island talking about Camille, and now suddenly she's talking about Jordan, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, Shushanna's down at the beach at this moment, burning a picture of Camille in the bonfire. Like, the girl's nuts. So she pulls Jordan aside, and he tells her off the bat that him and Cassandra hit it off, and that he's looking forward to getting to know her better. And Shushanna, she says how she was a bit jealous of this, hearing all of this. And then they just sat there in silence.
Yeah, this is where, who's this man's name? Jordan, where his age really came through. Because he was just looking at her like, girl, you are wasting my precious time. I am jet lagged. I just came off the beach with these double D's over here, and you are sitting here talking to me? What? Why?
Right. And he says to her, flat out, so what do you want from this conversation right now?
Yeah, he was like, what's the goal?
What's the goal of this actual conversation? Because you're sitting here in silence, not saying anything. And he basically just reiterates again that, like, he's interested in Cassandra and moving on with her, and that's that. Shushanna runs off crying. Now she's crying about Jordan.
This is where she got my Becky opinion.
Okay, yep, that's about right.
Because I was like, girl, you are literally dehydrated from all the tears that are running down your face from like 3 different men in 24 hours. You haven't even changed outfits more than twice. And you have cried over like so many things. Why do you keep crying? And then she was crying about how she's so complicated and how no one loves her. I'm like, nobody here is equipped to tell you your value because nobody here knows you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why are you sitting here sobbing on these blankets on this daybed about your worth as a woman to this man who is like not trying to get to know you at all?
He's sitting here comforting you because he feels bad to leave a girl crying by himself, but honestly he wants to go grab dinner because they just called, buffet is open. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god. So, yep, we're left with Shushanna crying tears, and that was the end of the episode.
That's it.
So we got a preview of next week, which is the finale. Thank you, Jesus. This has been a trying season. So finale next week. Everyone's in shambles. So many tears. Everybody's a fucking mess. We still have another arrival, which is just ridiculous.
So funny.
Robbie is going to be there. Robbie, who was on Bachelor in Paradise last season. He had a thing with Amanda Staten, I think is her name. Robbie's, he freaks me out. Like, he's the cyborg? He's the cyborg. He's the one I said looks like Cyborg. He cut off his face and it reveals the aluminum underneath. Like, he is going to be there for whatever reason. It looks like he's taking Jenna out on a date, and him and Jordan are going to have like a whole showdown.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Annaliese is perfectly convinced that Camille is going to propose to her.
Crazy.
Just nuts. And then we see Jenna in a wedding dress and Jordan in a tux.
I was like, what are they making them do?
What is this? This has to be like some date or something.
Yeah. No. Maybe it's their first date.
Right. There's no way they're getting married. That's just no. And then we also see that there's going to be a reunion special next week.
I know. I was excited.
Love a good reunion special. They're bringing back everybody. We see Tia still talking about Colton.
Oh my god.
Fast forward that instantly. And then we see that someone's going to propose.
That's great. I really want to see what Angela has to say about Eric.
Yes, I'm ready to see that. I want to see where Eric's head at. Where is Eric's head at now?
Yeah.
What explanation is he going to come with? Because we didn't get a very satisfying one.
No.
And what's Angela up to, and what's she got to say for her man? Love to see that. So that I'm looking forward to. And that is the episode, guys. That's it. Remember to rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't done so already, please go and do that. Also hit us up on Twitter. Our handle's the number 2 BLK Girls, the number 1 Rose.
And email us. Email us your questions about your love life, your crazy church members, your work, your everyday bigots, everything. Email us at the number 2 blackgirls, the number 1 rose at gmail.com.
And that's it. Next week, it's the finale.
That's it. The finale.
Yep. We'll talk to you guys then.
Bye.